Hello guys, this is Krishna. So I'm starting this session 9 after taking a long break due to some personal issues and health issues. Finally I'm here. So let's start session 9. This is completely about the different types of bracing system. Okay. So in this session we'll be covering different conditions where we need to use bracing and types of bracing as well. Types of bracing. So based on pattern, there are different types of bracing, which are horizontal bracing, vertical bracing. In the vertical brace, again there will be different types: X brace, two-story X brace, chevron bracing, V bracing, K brace, single diagonal brace. Example, if you take, these are the columns and these are the beams. This is a framing. In this framing plan, if there are bracings which can be seen from the plan view, that bracings we call it as horizontal bracing. Okay. Vertical bracing means if you can take some elevation view. Okay, if you take section like this, then you will get something like these columns and there is a beam, and in the elevation view the bracings which appear, we call these as vertical bracing. Okay, so that is the difference between horizontal bracing and vertical bracing. And let's see what are these X brace, two-story X brace, chevron, V brace, knee bracing, which means K brace, and a single diagonal brace. So this is the condition. In that elevation view, if you can see, this is of one level framing and this is of second floor framing and this is the roof framing. Okay, and now we call this as X bracing. Two-storied X bracing means if you take up to here, if the bracing is like this, then we call this as a two-storied X bracing, and this is diagonal bracing and this is K brace, which means that it will be in the pattern of K. Okay, K bracing, and this is V bracing and this is inverted V bracing. The same we call it as chevron bracing also. Okay, now different shapes of bracing members. In these vertical or horizontal bracing, whatever, we'll use these profiles. It can be angles or double angles. If for example you can see this one here, this is angle bracing. In the same way, double angle means there will be one more angle profile which is connecting to back of this angle. Okay, and channels, these are the channels. Double channels also can be used based on the loading conditions. Okay, and HS bracing, this is the HS bracing, and W members, and these are W members. These W members mostly we will use when it comes to trusses. Okay, when there is a big truss which is having some diagonal members, at those conditions we will provide W members. Apart from these things, we have rod bracing, clevis, pins, turnbuckles. So what are these all? Example, if you take a cable bridge, how it looks like? Simply, there is a horizontal portion, bridge, and like this, and this will be tied up to the bridge like this. Okay, these cables sometimes they use rod bracings in place of these cables. So rod bracings mostly they use at conditions where steel is exposed and aesthetic appearance also matters. Okay, at that condition we'll provide rod bracing. So that rod bracing is nothing but a plain rod with threaded portions at both the ends of rod. Okay, when we need to connect two rods together, we'll use turnbuckle. Okay, turnbuckle is nothing but it's like a coupler kind of phenomena. Okay, and based on the rod size, these turnbuckle sizes also will vary, and each turnbuckle will be having some catalog numbers. So if you can just provide that turnbuckle and that catalog number, particular sizes, this whole diameter, everything will be available. Okay, and then clevis. So these clevis are also same as turnbuckles. The only thing is one side it will be connected to rod and the another side it will be connected to a hook like this. Okay, and sometimes we will provide some pins into these clevis holes to connect to the wall or supporting member. It can be a column or beam, however. Okay, so this is the concept of rod bracing. And now different bracing conditions. Firstly, where we will use this horizontal bracing or vertical bracing. If you can take the elevation view of a building, these two are the columns and this is a beam. Okay, you have provided with some shear connection or moment connection, whatever. Okay, now these columns will be having a phenomena called plumbing, which means that if you just take 5 feet column, okay, and if you make it stand on the ground, the bottom point of the column and top point of the column will be in the same vertical line. Okay, if you take a 40 feet column and you make it stand on the ground, the bottom point vertical line and top point vertical line may not be the same. Column will slightly deviate so that the top point will get displaced. Okay, we call this phenomenon as plumbing. Means due to its self weight, the column will plumb slightly. In the same way, when these two columns are connected with beam, these will deviate from their positions like this. Okay, we call this phenomenon as swaying. Okay, so at these conditions, to avoid the swaying, we will connect the top of one column to the bottom of adjacent column with another member. We call these as vertical bracings. Okay, based on loading conditions, these vertical bracings will vary in different patterns. It can be diagonal brace, X brace, K brace, chevron, wavron, etc. Okay, now what is the concept of horizontal bracing? In the same way, for example, we have 4 columns. Let's say the 4 columns are around 40 feet from the ground. Like these beams are there. The same way, if you can see column plumbing from the top view, this can be the top positions of the columns. This column gets deviated slightly. Okay, and at that condition, beams which are connecting to the column will be like this, which means that this entire framing is getting rotated due to this column plumbing. We call this also swaying. So to avoid this swaying, if columns are like this, we will provide horizontal braces connecting all four corners. Okay, the patterns, profiles of braces will vary depending on the load analysis. Okay, so those are the conditions where there is a requirement of bracing. And now this bracing requirement may not only be because of this swaying also. For example, if any building which is having more wind loads means lateral load, right? So at that conditions we need to provide bracings. And where more axial load is there also will provide bracings. And when a building is to be surrounded with girts on all the sides, and that needs structural steel support, and that conditions also will use bracings. Okay, so apart from these horizontal and vertical bracings, there are two more conditions where we need bracings. So cantilever support bracing conditions. Example, knee brace, bracing to hold canopy. So let's see. I can say there is a column here, okay, and there is a beam, and with a normal connection. This side of the beam there is no connection, means that this beam is cantilevered, which means that this should be a moment connection, so that it should hold the entire length of the beam. Correct, right? But example, this may be a semi-rigid moment connection or a shear connection. You can't provide moment connection here. So at that condition, I will provide a supporting brace like this. Okay. So at this condition, we call this as knee brace. Okay. And one more condition is bracings to hold the canopy. If you can see this thing, this is the beam with some shear connections, and these are the tapered beams. Okay, all together they are forming some canopy. To support the canopy, either we need to provide something like knee brace here, okay, or we need to tie up something at the above. This is the same condition. We can provide bracing like this also, right? Like this also we can provide bracing instead of this. So in the same way, we will provide the bracing above the framing. So these are the two conditions where there is a requirement of knee brace or kicker angle, we can say. And now, apart from all this, there are some conditions where we need to use temporary bracing. What is temporary bracing? Temporary bracing means they will erect the braces and they will leave the braces up to some stage of complete erection of the building. After that, they will remove those temporary bracings. Actually, those bracings are not belongs to final framing of the building. For temporary purpose, we will use some temporary shoring with the help of those bracings. Okay, I'll just say one example so that you will understand where these temporary bracings are required. Let's say I have a very big building of around 20 columns in this way and 20 columns in this way. Okay, now in every building what I will do is I will erect columns first, so that after that framing beams will be coming, girder beams and then infill beams. Okay, so while erecting this first way, you will erect the columns, you will erect the beams, and as I said previously, swaying phenomena will come. So to avoid that swaying phenomena, you will provide horizontal bracing. Okay, and then you will start erecting the different remaining framing as well. So after complete erection, as a whole bunch, this framing will not sway anymore. Then we will remove these bracings. Okay, while erecting initial bay only, to avoid swaying, we will provide these bracings. So you can ask what will happen if it sways while erecting. If these columns are not swaying, he can't able to erect these beams and he can't able to fit the connections at these nodes. So to avoid that thing, we need to stop the swaying. So that is the reason why for time being we will provide some temporary bracings. So that's it. That's all about bracings. I hope you understand, and at any point of time, if you feel like this video is informative or helpful for you, please do like and subscribe, and if you have any doubts, please comment below. Okay, thank you.